Good afternoon, everybody. It's a beautiful and cooler Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Jo Coulihan. I'm the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce here in Pagosa Springs, and we have another great show for you today with our continuation of our 19th hole concert series. One of the things I love about talking about this 19th hole concert series is every week we get to learn a little bit more about one of our nonprofit agencies here in Pagosa Springs. We will welcome our Backcountry Horsemen a little bit later on in our show. But first off, let's start off with some things happening this weekend. First off, even before this weekend, tomorrow afternoon, I know it sounds kind of, I don't know if silly is the word, but it sounds maybe a little different. But the town of Pagosa Springs is going to be doing a ribbon cutting for the first street crosswalk against Highway 160. Many of us know it's a little dicey out there when you're trying to cross the highway. So that is a crosswalk that was long years in the making, part of this whole highway reconstruction project. That is probably the first component of it. I was over on the east side today and people were using that crosswalk. So good thing. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock, they'll be out there doing some photo opportunities and celebrating that much needed crosswalk. Then we roll into the weekend. And I think this event is something I am tremendously looking forward to. And that is the dedication of the new Tennyson Sculpture Garden on the corner of Highway 160, or just off the corner of Highway 160 and Lewis Street. What an absolute gift to this community. This sculpture garden, this artistic, almost masterpiece, the gardens themselves, the artwork that's in there, all from a private donor to this community. I don't think Pagosa Springs has seen the likes of such a donation to this community. It's been closed off, but the dedication is on Saturday. It begins at 11 a.m. The ribbon cutting itself will take place about noon. And we couldn't be more proud to be a part of that celebration and that ceremony. So the community is invited to come out for that dedication and that ribbon cutting. The following weekend, however, the park itself will be open to the public, and there will be a much larger event open to the public on June 29th and 30th. There's going to be live music all day, just incredible artists all day long on both days. And then there will also be food vendors out there. And of course, there'll be about 30 artistic vendors out there. A lot of them are the artists over at Two Old Crows, but there's just going to be a lot of activity in that park. It's just such a well-designed, beautiful, calming gift to this community. So I hope people will take advantage of this. I know we keep thinking we see the Bear Creek there, but that hasn't been here for, almost 10 years now. So 8 years. So step on out to the gardens and the park at the Tennyson Sculpture Gardens, either at the dedication this Saturday or on the 29th and 30th, when it's going to be lots of activity. That sculpture garden also has an event stage already built into it, so incredibly well planned. So let's come out and say thank you to Evelyn Tennyson and thank her for this gift that she has given this community on behalf of her husband. The other thing that is happening on June 29th and 30th is kickoff to Summerfest, and that is another artisan market that will be held in the athletic field in Town Park. It will be produced by FABA Events, which is for artists by artists, and their gallery is also in the historic downtown area. So that will be taking place on Saturday and Sunday as well. They too will be having live music, food vendors, artist vendors. There's also going to be a children's area. At both events, there'll be a beer and wine garden. So lots of things happening downtown. I'm telling you, I said this on the radio this morning. Get your shopping list together: birthdays, anniversaries, special events, weddings, and holidays, and get your shopping done either at any of these artisan markets, or take a few more minutes to head on downtown to many of our businesses which have things that these artisan markets don't have. So it's just a great time. This should be the 29th and 30th should be a shopping weekend for Pagosa Springs. So lots of opportunities for you to get ahead of the schedule and get some really unique gifts, whether it's in any of our downtown businesses or at these artisan markets. The other big thing I want to remind everybody of is next Friday, and it's hard to believe we're almost to the 4th of July. We only have a couple weeks to go. But on the 28th of June is the June Business Happy Hour. There are count them, three businesses participating in this event. And the event will be held at Elk Trace Bed and Breakfast, which is on Honeybee, which is actually an extension of Stevens Lake Road. Many people know where that is. Right, the turnoff from Piedra Road takes Stevens Lake, and that turns into Honeybee, and we will be out at Elk Trace Bed and Breakfast. We will also be with our chamber businesses, No Limits Ranch, as well as Buckaroos. So they have a great event planned for us. It's a Friday, it's summer, it's almost to the 4th of July weekend. Let's start off on that Friday, even before we have the 29th and 30th and all those artist events. Let's just kick off that weekend on Friday night at our business happy hour at Elk Trace Bed and Breakfast. So all you chamber members and any of the invited guests, new businesses, you are welcome to attend. So it's going to be, I've heard a lot of people say, I don't even know where Elk Trace is. Our point exactly. You should get out there and find out what's going on, because the place is great for weddings and reunions, or maybe you have people visiting. Come and find out what is in our community. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, we have an event even before everything I've been talking about, and that is tomorrow. And that is going to be the third in the month-long 19th hole concert series here in Pagosa Springs at the Pagosa Springs Golf Course. We are happy to have the third nonprofit. They've all been very diverse this year. And we're happy to have on our show with us Ron Toland, who is with the Backcountry Horsemen. So I'm not sure we've had animal related nonprofit before, but we're super happy that you're with us, Ron. And I think that the Backcountry Horsemen, despite all the work they do, you lead a pretty quiet profile unless you're in the horse related industry. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your organization, the Backcountry Horsemen, and what exactly you do here in Pagosa Springs, besides really liking horses?
You bet. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. Backcountry Horsemen of America is a national organization with over 200 chapters spread around 40 states. Our local chapter, the San Juan chapter here in Pagosa Springs, is a nonprofit. And our mission, part of our mission, is to support and assist the Forest Service in maintaining trails in our region. But we work not only in the Pagosa Ranger District, we also work across the Rio Grande National Forest, and that's 3 ranger districts: Divide, Caneos Peak, and Swatch. So we help with trail maintenance in several ways. One is we actually put boots on the ground. We are trained sawyers in both chainsaw and crosscut. A lot of people don't realize that in the national forest, you can use chainsaws to clear the thousands of downed trees that come down because of the beetle every year. But in the wilderness, we actually have to use hand saws. So these are 2-man saws. So we haul that gear up in the woods and spend our spare time cutting out trees. And as much work as it is, it amazes even me that we actually have a lot of fun doing it.
I'm not sure I would say using a crosscut saw is fun, but I'll take your word for it. I've done
if you ever want to come out and give it a whirl, we'll put you on one end of it. The other ways we help are by pack-ins. For example, we'll pack tools and equipment in or out for the trail crews. A while back, they used to do 8-day hitches, and they could only pack in about half the groceries they needed. So midway, we'd take some pack horses up there with groceries to replenish their larder. And that was really appreciated. Kind of makes their trip a little more enjoyable, and better for us if they can keep cutting trees instead of lugging groceries in and out. We kind of spearheaded a project to restore Forest Service signs. Some of you that go by the Coyote Hill sign going up on Piedra Road, it used to be a mess. It was paint was chipping. There were portions of the sign that were rotten. We tore it down, we refurbished it, put it back up, and it looks brand new. And you'll see several more signs around the area that have been refurbished as well.
Well, I think it's interesting because of your use of horses to get into the backcountry. So if someone maybe is new to town, or maybe they've been here and they are looking for an organization to partner with, how would someone contact you about your organization?
Okay, you bet. We have a website, sjbch for San Juan Backcountry Horsemen.org. And there's some details in there for how to join, how to contribute to our club. And our meetings are generally the third Monday of every month. You want to check ahead, make sure. Sometimes we skip meetings, especially during the busy time of the year, like right now. And I like to point out that there's a lot of ways that someone can contribute to an organization like ours. You don't have to have a horse. You might serve on the board. We need treasurers. We need secretaries. We need people to organize some of the social events that we have going on. And some of the trail work we do doesn't involve horses either. For example, the 13th of July, we're going to go over to Big Meadow Reservoir and go up Archuleta Creek with crosscut saws in cooperation with the San Juan Mountain Association, and clear about 4 miles of trail, so that
Wow.
10, 12 days after that, they're going to send a crew in there to work on the tread, because the tread is seriously degrading over time. All our attention and the Forest Service's attention and budget has gone to fighting wildfires and clearing trees, but the tread has been ignored. And you'll see some ruts forming in the ground, and some other things degrading out there. And it's getting worse every year. So the forest and trails could really use our attention.
Sure. Well, we all use them. And I think, me as a hiker, I certainly am grateful for you and everybody that takes care of those trails out there so that we can enjoy our backcountry. It's really amazing. Now, tell us a little bit tomorrow. Tomorrow? Who's going to be your musical artists that will be partnering with you, and how do people get tickets and get out there?
You bet. You can get tickets at the event itself. They're $10 admissions. There's going to be food with Square Top Barbecue. Tito's Vodka is going to have drinks, and there'll be beer, of course, as well. The San Juan Mountain Boys are playing, so it's very appropriate for the San Juan Backcountry Horsemen. I know they'll put on a good show. Bring a couple of lawn chairs, bring a friend or two. It's a fun event. I went to one last week. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the concerts are certainly breaking records. Something that we may want to mention is, because the attendance numbers are so great, think about carpooling and bringing your friends, and think about carpooling when you come out that night. Now, will you all be out there? And if people are interested, will they be able to talk to someone in your organization?
You bet. There'll be 2 or 3 of us out there. We'll have a table as you come into the event. There'll also be a tip jar. We rely on community donations, and that's one reason we're really appreciative for the Southwest Community Fund. We were one of 4 charities chosen for these events. We're going to split the proceeds equally among the 4 charities, and really donations are our lifeblood. We volunteer our time and our livestock and our equipment, etc. So we don't get any of that money personally, but we might use it to buy equipment, new saws, sharpened saws. And because the Forest Service hasn't been able to get everything done in the backcountry, and the volunteers haven't been able to get it all done, we'd like to hire contract work to go in and pick up where we leave off. So these donations are very much appreciated. In fact, we've had a very active fundraising year. We've collected around $12,000 this year to
Great.
help us get the job done.
Well, that's amazing. And so think about that, folks. You may not be a horse person, but if you're a hiker or you use any of these trails in any ways, look at contributing to these organizations, in particular tomorrow, San Juan Backcountry Horsemen, and donate to them because they're doing the work so that you can enjoy the backcountry. And I remember the year after the big snow, the hundreds of trees that were down that year. The trails at one point in time, many of them were just inaccessible because there was just so much downfall. So thank you for all the work that you do. Ron, is there anything that perhaps we didn't cover about your organization or about the 19th hole concert tomorrow?
Just wanted to mention that for the last 2 years, and again, we're going to go in again this year in August, I brought a crew of 7 people and about 13 saddle stock and pack animals, 22 miles into the South San Juans for a week. And we've been working on a loop trail in there for the last 2 years to clear the trail. It hasn't been open since, I think, 2008. And
Wow.
there were about 75 to 100 trees down per mile on the South Fork of the Canales.
Oh,
That's a job. And we got all but a mile of it last year. So this year we're going to go in and finish it up. So there's going to be high fives all around at the end of that trip.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And again, so that we can recreate, we appreciate everything that your organization has done in conjunction with the collaboration of other organizations as well. So the backcountry and the wilderness here is just what we consider our lifeblood. It's our backyard. But certainly you guys are mowing the lawn so that I
We
don't have
appreciate
to.
being part of a very caring and supportive community. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And so we'll see a lot of you out there tomorrow. You might want to bring an umbrella, but don't let that stop you. Don't let the weather, just don't know until we get out there in the evening. So keep going with your plans. Continue to head out tomorrow evening to the Pagosa Springs Golf Course. We thank them for their sponsorship as well, for allowing the Community Foundation to host this musical series at this event. Thank you again, Ron, for joining us, and continued good luck this summer with everything that you're doing. And thank you all for joining us today. Another, again, so interesting. We live here and we find out so much about the various organizations that are here in our community and little known facts and all the work that they do. So continue to support this concert series and have a great weekend. There's so much coming up. 4th of July is right around the corner, and we will be focusing a lot on that in the next couple weeks. And please put down on your calendar our business happy hour, which will be happening not this Friday, but a week from Friday on the 28th of June. Thank you, everybody. We are going to enjoy the much needed moisture that is supposedly on the way, and we'll see you next week.